Years ago today, Facebook and Instagram blocked news here in Canada. Here's how it affects what Canadians see and read online. So the Canadian government passed the Online News Act, and the Online News Act required major social media companies to pay into a fund to support Canadian journalism. Back in 2023, Google said, okay, yeah, we're going to pay $100 million, we're going to support Canadian journalism, but Meta took an opposite tactic and said, no, we're not going to do that, and actually we're going to go a step further, we're going to block Canadian news on Facebook and Instagram, so you can no longer access it. So there's two major ways this has impacted Canadians. The first is Canadian publishers and news organizations. A lot of the small ones have become totally disconnected from the social web. They don't have any more social presence, and many have actually gone under and have closed their doors. So that's a real loss for small communities across the country. For some of the larger outlets, they've been able to survive, but they've had their click-through rate from Facebook and Instagram drastically reduced, and it's really changed the way that they have to cover news and the way they get their money. Some of the major outlets have actually been very successful in sort of this post-meta ban world. So I'm thinking some of the larger channels have actually very successfully moved to TikTok and now are performing quite well, and in fact have sort of replaced one-to-one their engagement levels as compared to the pre-ban. So yes, there's been some adaptation, and particularly this sort of Buy Canadian movement over the last 6 months has really kind of bolstered to a certain extent Canadian news subscriptions and Canadians paying attention to Canadian news. And I hope that continues. But absent that, the trend line is very clear. Canadian news is in a crisis and it's not looking good. It's not going in the right direction. For everyday Canadians, it's been hugely impactful. Instagram and Facebook are two of the most important social media platforms here in Canada. About 50% plus of Canadians use one or the other platform. But many of them don't even know that news is banned. And in fact, many Canadians continue to say, hey, I get my news and current affairs. So what that means is that they're going on these platforms, they're getting some version of the news, but they're not getting the rich quality of news. They're not getting the news that contextualizes, informs, and provides additional information about the world. Instead, they're getting headlines, interpretations, hot takes, and they're not getting sort of that quality content any longer.